evening, Bula Vinaka and Namaste. I'm Vijay Narayan. You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. Tonight we've got, as promised, our guest to speak to you directly on Straight Talk, the Supervisor of Elections, Anna Mataiciwa. Ms. Mataiciwa, thank you very much for accepting our invitation on behalf of our listeners and followers on Fiji Village.
Good evening, Vijay.
A lot of questions have come through, hundreds actually, so thank you very much for sending them across. And because of the early confirmation, when the guest confirms earlier, the earlier the better, the more time for you to think through your questions to send that across. Because at the end of the day, Straight Talk started based on accountability and transparency. Our country, as you know, is on this journey where a lot of questions have to be asked. And at times, people also, when they are hesitant to ask questions, they feel that if they send it through platforms like these, that they will get honest answers. At times, you may not be happy with what's being asked and maybe what's been answered. In a true democracy, people have a right to ask and people have a right to answer. And we will continue as free media to continue to remain independent and stay true to our profession to continue to do that. Just last week, we did not have any Straight Talk. The reason, we invited the parliamentary leaders to come in with the Fiji Council of Social Services and the NGO Coalition for a Straight Talk on the parliamentary salaries and benefits, the changes that were announced. Unfortunately, some did not come back with a confirmation, and some said they were sick. Only the Fiji Council of Social Services and the NGO Coalition were willing to come on. For the others, some of the leaders were busy, and we have told them that we will definitely have that session, and I will continue to push for that, promise you that. Now, on to our first question. What are your main concerns? What were your main concerns when you became the acting Supervisor of Elections?
Thank you, Vijay. So I acted in the role on the 26th of Jan 2023 until 10th of May 2024. So when I became the acting Supervisor of Election, I immediately knew I had to do two things. One of it was to establish a strong foundation for the organization. So most of us were there since 2014. Some came in 2016, 2017. So probably I would say most of us were there 5 years more. And one thing that I needed to do was to build a healthy culture. When I say healthy culture, I mean for the staff to raise their concerns and opinion without being victimized. That was the first issue. The second issue was flexibility. Most of us, we were there since 2014. We are not robots, we are human. We needed to adapt some human aspects into the way we work with regards to our flexi hours, working from home. And finally, the simple process, we needed to be honest with ourselves. In order for us to be honest with ourselves, we needed to do an internal review of not only the 2022 general election, but the overall operation of the organization. That was the first aspect. The second aspect was the external stakeholders. Now, we had burnt the bridges with them, so it was a matter of basically mending the relationship with our stakeholders to gain their trust back. So those were my two issues that I needed to sort out when I came in as the acting Supervisor of Elections.
It's interesting you say that, because when you say burning the bridges with stakeholders, elections, of course, is the people's elections. When you are electing people who represent you. Now, when you saw that the bridges were being burned and you were part of that structure, can you tell us how you felt? I mean, you definitely were not the supervisor at that time.
That's correct. I wasn't the supervisor of election. I was basically the manager legal. Now, for most of us in the organization, we had our different job description. Our job was to provide advice, and then we had the leaders that were going to either take on board our advice or not. So whilst that was happening, we were to work within the law, and that had happened then, but we took advantage of the change in leadership, and we knew we didn't have to conform to it, but basically transform how things needed to be done.
Your immediate actions then, when you came in as the acting supervisor, one of the immediate actions was you referred the former supervisor of elections to FICAC.
Yes, so when I talked about healthy culture earlier on, it was basically to give the staff a safe space to raise their concerns. Now, when that was created, staff started coming forward with certain breaches on certain processes internally, and that came to the complaint that was lodged against the former supervisor of election. Now, we had lodged it with the police because it was a bit criminal in nature and for them to investigate. And now we see where it's at the moment, so I cannot elaborate more on it because it's a current court case.
Yeah, and of course those are alleged breaches,
Yes.
which is going through the criminal court of law at the moment, and the case continues before the courts. What are some of the areas that you believe remain a concern with you as Supervisor of Elections now at the Fijian Elections Office?
Thank you. Three main areas that are of concern right now to us, which I know we'll talk more on, is of course the glitch drama. And at this stage, I just want to thank our stakeholders, especially the media and also the political parties, for raising the issue as well. We had been going after this audit report since last year. It's over a year now, so that was or is still one of my main concerns. The other one is the amendment to the electoral laws. Last year as well, we were being informed of changes to electoral laws, and not only the electoral laws, other laws as well that exist in the country. So we have completed a year. 2025 is next year, and then we are on to the election year again. So we are actually concerned because there is a need to have these laws amended, and of course the local government election as well. It has been told to the stakeholders of the possibility of having local government election, and at this stage we are still concerned because we have not received the commencement date for it.
You have referred a number of complaints for assessment with FICAC. I can count 17 here, and the list of people included people from the different parties we have. Now, the different types of breaches, alleged breaches, and what makes you refer these issues to FICAC, if you can explain to those watching tonight.
Okay. So for the past couple of months, our stakeholders might have seen we had been updating our stakeholders on certain complaints that have been referred to us, which we later on referred to FICAC. Now, this will also be a good opportunity for me to basically explain on our processes, Vijay, because I know many people might be asking, this lady continuously receives and passes the ball to the other side. But Section 18 of the Electoral Act, it talks about my statutory duty, one of which, when I immediately become aware of a probable breach or commission of an offense, I have to refer it to FICAC because they are our complaints arm of looking at complaints. And so that is the process that we have been taking since. rightfully said, 17 have been referred to FICAC. Most of these are in relation to declaration of assets, not declaring certain assets that they might have. But I'd like to also reiterate here that us submitting it to FICAC does not mean that these people are guilty. They still are innocent until proven guilty. And if you're looking at procedural fairness, then that will be awarded to them when FICAC does their assessment on the complaints.
Now, these are concerning issues about some of these people being referred to FICAC. And you rightly put it that people will be asking, this lady keeps passing the ball. The law is clear.
Yes.
And there is a suspicion hanging over these people's heads for some people since last year. Have you been having discussions with FICAC about the apparent delay now from last year?
So when we look at these complaints, some of them are complex in nature, and so I do understand why there could be a delay from FICAC, because it's not just a simple case. It's complicated, and they have also explained to us. In fact, they have been continuously updating us on their process and where they are up to on these complaints. So we are satisfied, because we rather they do it slowly, but they do it surely, rather than they rush it, because this goes to court if
it does go to court.
And then they need to, do their proper work as well.
So for those people who are making claims and saying that, okay, why are you doing this and our names are being tarnished, what do you have to say to them?
Well, if we look at the chronological of events, most of these people, we didn't take the normal route that was taken prior to my leadership, where we referred cases to FICAC, and then we did a grand press conference or press release. If we look at the current situation, it only came to light when some of these people had actually gone to the media themselves, and that's when we had to step in. Otherwise, we had respected the process that was there.
What about some allegations being said that you are being used, or this is a witch hunt?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a witch hunt, and I refute the claim that I've been used, simply because these are complaints from the general public. I just didn't wake up one morning and decided to start victimizing people. So we facilitate the process. Like I said, the doors are always open. People come with their complaint, and we facilitate it to FICAC.
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. Our guest tonight is the Supervisor of Elections, Mataiciwa. Stay with us. We'll be back after this break.
Oh my gosh! Oh, what's in the box?
You're probably wondering, what's in the box? Well, if you must know, it's actually me. Before you call the police, I'm actually an app. The all-new Fiji Village app. Here's an update. See what I did there? I gave you an update. What's new? Well, for starters, I look different. My new layout also comes with stories if you're looking for something short and sweet. I will bring you the latest news on the dot so you stay updated. You're welcome. You don't have to go anywhere for content because I bring the content to you. Not only can you listen to your favorite radio stations, you can also watch online video content. Which reminds me, do you love sports? Well, guess what? With the Fiji Village app, you can stay up to date with your favorite sports and scoreboards, no matter where you are. Your #1 news website just got better with an app. Download and get updated now.
Bigger, bolder, and better than ever.
Fiji Showcase 2024, 5th to 13th July at the Vodafone Arena, Suva.
Get ready
to be swept up in a whirlwind of international acts, mouth-watering cuisine, and the best shopping deals of the year.
Oh, the shopping! There's nothing like having everything under one roof.
Fiji Showcase 2024, 5th to 13th July.
Save the date! 9 days of pure delight awaits. Fiji Showcase 2024, 5th to 13th July at the Vodafone Arena, Suva.
See you there.
Bigger!
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. Our guest tonight, the Supervisor of Elections, Ana Mataiciwa. Ms. Mataiciwa, talking about the glitch drama, as you put it. As that night was very concerning for everybody, in the middle of counting and the results coming out electronically, and then everything shuts down as far as the figures are concerned. And even after that, we picked up on some things on the app, and we continued to ask the question in terms of some areas where there were more votes being tallied, more than the registered number of voters in certain areas, and those were some of the concerns that we had put earlier. But then when the final results come out, some things had changed. There is a level of suspicion, and there were a lot of questions sent in relation to the glitch on why the investigation has not been done.
Thank you, Vijay. Now, for the glitch. Last year, it was being informed, not only to us, but to the stakeholders in general, that there was going to be an audit on the glitch. For us at the Fijian Elections Office, we wouldn't be able to conduct audit on our own system. It would need someone independent. Otherwise, it would have seen that it's manipulation again. So we facilitated this statement that an audit was going to be made, and we were very proactive in it. In fact, when we were approached by the then former Attorney General and the current SG, we provided them all the necessary information that was needed. And so afterwards, because we also had our review, our 2022 general election review with our stakeholders, they had also raised their concern that glitch needs to be investigated. So we followed through with that request from our stakeholders, and we continued to ask the Office of the Solicitor General and the Attorney General then on the status. It's been after a year now, and we still hadn't received any update from them.
It's a lot of concern, about 17 months. This thing hanging over the heads of everybody.
Yes.
And the former Attorney General Shiromi Turanga, who is now just the Minister for Justice, and of course Graham Leung is a former chair of the Electoral Commission. Are you planning to write to him now? You know, he would know more because he's been a former chair.
In fact, today's news for us, it was light at the end of the tunnel, because, and on this note, I would also want to congratulate the new Attorney General. And for us, this is a good opportunity to bring back all these pending issues. And we believe, and we will be positive, that this will be expedited soon.
Yeah, 17 months. So, new Attorney General, you've got your work cut out. Please get it moving with the Solicitor General, Mr. Ropati Green Lomavatu. We would like definitely answers. On this show, a lot of questions have come through. And as the Supervisor of Elections puts it, you cannot be auditing your own system. That's why some suggestions made earlier that you need to make the move yourself. What do you have to say to them?
If they're saying move myself, then this is the move that we are taking. I won't be able to call for an audit myself, because there has been a cabinet decision. And with that, we let that decision follow through, and now it's a matter of accountability. You've started it, and now we are asking you to finish it.
To get it done.
Yes.
What are the logistical issues for you? You're still storing thousands of ballot papers and boxes?
Yes. In fact, we are looking at around 2,066 ballot boxes that we are currently storing. And although we have, because of the delay, we have made some adjustments and we have been able to facilitate the storage because of this audit, but then again, the year is moving and we also need the space. This is because we are preparing for the local government election and because the upcoming general election is just around the corner. So we need the space also and the ballot box to be utilized as well.
What is the cost factor associated with it? You need to keep it
With
secure as well.
It is secure. With regards to the cost, we were able to rectify the cost. At this instance, it's not so much on the cost, but it's just so much on having to facilitate having these ballot papers there when legally it had to be destroyed 6 months after the general election. But it's there, and so that there could be no excuse that the audit cannot be facilitated for the glitch. So everything is there. All they have to do is come, check it, and then we move on.
Moving on to the electoral law changes, proposed electoral law changes, what is the update on that?
Okay, so with regards to the electoral laws, just like the glitch, last year we had also been following up on it. And,
Following up with who?
With the SG's office and the then AG. This is because we were being informed of cabinet decision to review these laws, not only electoral laws, I believe the other laws as well. So we had been following up on it up until to date. We have not received any feedback from it. So this is also for us. With the new Attorney General, there is hope there that this could be facilitated to at the earliest, given that 2026 or 2027 is the election year, so we need to amend these laws quickly.
And of course, we would not want to have a situation like the last time where the amendments were rushed through so quickly that the public awareness campaigns were falling behind. And we had people, the real stakeholders, the people of this country, unaware of certain laws coming in.
Yes, of course, Vijay. There is a lot of repercussion to this. When we rush it first, our stakeholders, they get confused because they are the end users that need to adhere to these laws. So we saw what had happened in the previous general election. We do not want that to be a reoccurrence for the next general election. So that is why we've also been following up on these electoral reviews as well.
You are an independent office holder. Then you are relying on Attorney General and Solicitor General to also act in relation to certain things. And then you, in that 17, you also had the former Attorney General as one of the people who had a complaint, the one that was referred by you to FICAC. Was that an awkward situation? How good was your communication?
From my end, it was a good communication, but from their end, I think action speaks louder than word at this stage. But then again, we are in a professional field, and we are custodian of the law, so no one is above the law. And when we receive complaints that there could be a probable breach to your actions, we refer it, and then we continue to maintain that professional way. And so from our end, it has always been professional.
So the only issue for you is there's no action coming through based on the changes that you want.
Yes, but like I said, there's a light at the end of the tunnel today, so hopefully we get some positive feedback.
A lot of pressure on the new Attorney General there. Now, will changes be proposed for the declaration of assets and liabilities of parties, officials and candidates? I asked the question because I actually pushed for this to be included when the laws were being made. That there needs to be proper accountability if people want to stand for office, to represent the people of this country. And one of the things it came through. And then in 2014 and 2018, the assets and liabilities of everyone in parties were being published after they were submitted. Then we had a change of law before the 2022 elections. This is one of the rushed laws, I would say, under Standing Order 51, where part of the laws was you do not have to publish anymore, and if anyone wants to go and check it, you have to go and pay for it, and you cannot take any photos of it, you cannot pay for printouts, you can only look at it. Why such a dangerous change?
Well, prior to that amendment, there was actually an opportunity for stakeholders to come and check. And then the amendment happened, and so for us, there is actually a review that is coming up. So this could be an opportunity for the stakeholders to make submissions on it. And for us at the Fijian Elections Office, we are now at a stage of having that collaboration with our stakeholders. So that would be a good opportunity for the stakeholders to raise this concern and reflect it in the proposed amendments.
Do you believe it should be published?
Well, I could believe anything, but then I'll give it back to the stakeholders. For us, we are just custodian of the law, and if there is a push from stakeholders, we will gladly facilitate.
So when will this proposed change be worked on as far as consultations are concerned?
Well, now that we have the new Attorney General, hopefully the Solicitor General gets going with these amendments to not only our electoral laws, but the other laws in general as well. So, that is something that we,
so you've asked for it already? How
we
long?
have actually been following up last year when we were being informed around March that there was a decision on the amendments to the laws, electoral laws.
So more than 1 year, nothing.
Just like the glitch.
We like glitching in our actions too now. It's quite worrying because the people of Fiji are getting concerned.
True.
Because we're talking about elections being held, we're talking about local government elections being held, and we better not be falling as we're going to the try line, so to speak. Issue about opinion polls. There were several restrictions put on opinion polls before the last elections. What's happening with that?
So yes, there was actually a proposal and then a amendment. So the stakeholders that are listening in might be wondering what are these two talking about. So Section 110 of the Electoral Act, it had introduced that people who had intended to publish opinion polls, survey, or even research were to comply with certain guidelines issued by the Electoral Commission that they see, probably that they deem fit, that it was in line of having a fair election. And so the Multinational Observer Group had also picked up on this opinion poll in their 2022 General Election Report. And they had actually said, I'll just quote what they said. They had observed that this section, the one that we are talking about, had raised considerable concerns from the civil society organizations, the universities, and the media organization. And they also observed that these stakeholders perceived the legislative amendments as seeking to restrain their participation in the electoral environment. So the MOG had recognized that the public opinion polls, they play an important role. And so for the FEO, we know that it's part of a recommendation from MOG, so we will also be considering it in these amendments to the electoral laws as well.
So if we have the local government elections, will the media be allowed to do polls?
At this stage, we have not received the commencement date for the Local Government Act, but we also have a regulation. So the regulation, it will reflect the processes with regards to provisions on conducting the local government election. Now, as it stands, this is an existing law. The regulation needs to reflect what is in the existing law. So then again, that's where we had been, since last year, been pushing for this electoral laws, so that fear from the general election does not penetrate to the local government election. So we are positive that with this current new AG, there's probably going to be a change in all these things that are pending.
I have another one in relation to the laws again. What is your stand on the additional powers that was given to the Supervisor of Elections, which included the powers to search offices for documents relating to electoral matters before the 2022 general elections? That was like when this came out, we were questioning why the duplication. You already have FICAC as the investigating arm already, and then a new law that had was rushed through under Standing Order 51 in Parliament required, like even the media organizations, to surrender any documents, or search will be conducted if the Supervisor of Elections felt that. You have those powers right now, right? Do you want to still hold on to those powers?
Actually, when we look at these powers, some of it are relevant, some are not. In this case, this section 6, it expands the powers of the Supervisor of Elections. So the multinational observer group, they had also recommended on having this looked at and changed. And that is something that we will also be looking at, because right now, even though the powers is there, it's not been actioned. So if it is a redundant provision, then it's better we go back to the old electoral law where it did not even factor in these provisions.
I'm asking you the question because apart from people making submissions in relation to changes, wouldn't you also be making submissions on what you feel would be the best thing going forward? Yes,
definitely. And like I said, some of these provisions, we look at it whether it's appropriate to the end users, or if it's just an administrative obstacle to the end users. When we look at the provisions, well, MOG had picked up that the appropriateness of this expansion of this power is not necessary. And so for us, one thing with the report is actually good, because it would also allow us to reflect on it. And if we look at our joint report, we had already made an undertaking that we will be considering all these provisions that were introduced and needs to be removed or amended.
But these things can't change again without a proper law reform.
Yes. And why we're pushing for the law reform is that we want the stakeholders also to be included in this provision, because one thing we saw was for the past 3 general elections, it was just Fijian Elections Office, stakeholders. What we tell you to do, you do. Otherwise, go to FICAC. But now we are not conforming, but we are transforming. So when we transform, we want to work with our stakeholders. There's an option for us to just go ahead, but that is not our stand. We want to work with our stakeholders, have this go the proper way, get consultation for it, And because at the end of the day, it's the stakeholders that's going to implement these processes.
We're going into 2025 next year, and you're saying you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It is a process. So what is required? I still want to understand, because yes, we've got the appointment of the new Attorney General. What caused the delay from March last year?
Well, when we look at it, the delay would be from the, like I said, the end user. So over here, we were being informed that the SG's office and the AG's office would take a lead role. So for us, we've been just following the proper channel, asking them, and nothing had been forthcoming. But when I say there's light at the end of the tunnel, because this will be an opportunity for us to bring these issues again to the attention of the current Attorney General.
Just for clarification, when you say nothing forthcoming, you were not even getting responses on where it's up to?
Yes.
So when did you last get a response from the Attorney General's office or the Solicitor General's office?
We wrote on March last year, and we hadn't received an acknowledgement to it
To date,
to date,
despite the cabinet decision.
despite.
Now, a lot of talk has come out that we will have local government elections, and you will be handling local government elections. And if it's to be held this year, definitely you need to get going to get things done, and that includes a major awareness campaign. The last local government elections was held in 2005, and there's a lot of challenges because to get things moving. What is your cut-off time that you will tell the government we cannot have it this year because things are not ready?
So for the local government election, Cabinet had actually approved for a working committee to look at the local government election, and this committee is chaired by the PS local government, and the members are the CEOs of the municipal council, the SOE, the SG, and we have the PS finance. So for us, we are waiting for the commencement date, because the commencement date would give us the legal mandate to actually come in, and then we are able to then prepare the operational plan, and whether it's doable to have it this year or not. So we have raised our concerns with the working group committee, and hopefully they'll be able to inform us soon on this commencement date. But cut-off date, that will be through the working committee to the cabinet.
Maybe they're waiting for the new budget to get some money. Money will be definitely
maybe, but you know, for transparency and accountability, money, it runs its own lane. When it comes to commencement date, it has nothing to do with it. I mean, you made a promise last year to the stakeholders, and then now we are holding you accountable for making those statements to have that local government election.
Because I'm starting to get questions, and there were a lot of questions also that were sent in. When is the local government elections? So you can't even give a date based on your schedule cannot be set out because there's no commencement date and what you need to do.
Once the commencement date is given, then I will be able to provide a practical timeline, and that will be the time that we'll be able to say we are able to do it or we are not able to do it.
Can you assure us that it won't be rushed? Because the people watching out there, they're the concerned party, and they need to know about the new systems coming in, the registration process, awareness process has to be done well. Can you assure the people of Fiji that the local government elections will not be rushed?
if I say assure, then I'll be overstepping, because that would be me running the lane of the PS local government. But what I would say to the stakeholders is that we would ensure that no one is left behind in these electoral processes, because we've heard you on the reviews of the 2022 general election. We want to better our next general election, and in that process we want to reflect it in the local government election.
So you will ensure that that is truly reflected when the working group decides?
From the electoral processes, I would make sure that things that we have talked about, as practical as it can, to be reflected, but I will not be able to overstep and talk on behalf of the committee or the local government.
You still have regular meetings?
There are meetings that are happening, and so then again, you can be having meetings and having open door policy, but action needs to be done. So for us at the Fijian Elections Office, we've always been proactive, and we'll continue to write and continue to bring our concerns, even here to the media, if we are not being heard in the normal proper channel. And hopefully, just like the glitch, things started to move.
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. We'll be back after this break.
Breakfast with Budana Penny and Tifa. Good yanders.
It's 21 past 7 and it's Turned Up Tuesday. Turn up.
Good youngers, let's go. Hey! Hi! We just wanted to take this moment to say a big binakabakalibu
For making us the #1 radio station in Fiji.
Your sport means the world to us.
Thank you for listening in day after day.
I like listening to Breakfast on FM 96. I love all the songs that they play, and FM 96 is one of them.
We love FM 96. FM 96.
Our number one.
One thing that draws me to FM 96 is that the content is relatable. They do play all the music that I love.
Part of FM 96 is listening to Penny the Penny Stars. And they make fun about my forehead because it shines brighter than the day.
And you have made us a part of your daily routine.
And we couldn't be more grateful.
Because you make what we do worth it.
Thank you for making us #1 in Fiji!
Get ready to elevate your event with Total Event Company's top-notch gear hire services. From a stunning 12 by 12 meter adjustable stage and impressive 13 by 13 meter production roof, we've got your event covered. Our gear can fit any venue, big or small. Need tents? We offer 3 by 3 meter pagodas, 6 by 3 meter tents, and a grand 15 by 30 meter marquee tent. Turn your vision into reality. Choose Total Event Company for gear that makes your event shine. Visit the Total Event Company Facebook page or dial 3314-766 to get in touch with us.
Wait, where am I?
Oh, you died, bro.
I'm dead? But why?
Gori, that's what happens when you change your playlist when you're driving?
Crashed.
What? No, this can't be happening. I had so much left to do in life. All I do is stare at my phone because you know I'm Gen Z and we're all anti-social. And I wish I did so much, but... By the way, do you guys have Wi-Fi up here?
This is why you should have listened to F96 Drive. Shouldn't let them play the music.
And you just drive.
No! I can't believe this is happening. It wasn't
When you're
even
done,
my car and I didn't have
Hell is
car
that way,
insurance.
eh?
Wait, what?
Welcome back. You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. Our guest tonight, the Supervisor of Elections, Anna Mataiciwa. More questions here. As I said, hundreds of questions came through and we managed to ask many, and I hope you are satisfied with the responses. Of course, all those issues regarding the laws, as we said, we have to do a follow-up now with the Attorney General appointed today, Mr. Graham Leon, and also with the Solicitor General, Ropate Green Lomavatu, in relation to the concerns raised by the supervisor on the show tonight. There's some questions here from this IT expert, and he said he wants you to ensure that 2014, 2018 and 2022 general elections are audited to check, because there's still suspicions, and he has background in IT, and he's asking if that can be done.
Thank you, Vijay. For me, I'm a custodian of the 3 electoral laws, and these laws, it reflects the timeline of when disputes regarding election results could be checked or could be verified. So unfortunately, the legal timeline has lapsed, but that's only from my side. If this person insists that they have evidence, then they have means to lodge their complaint probably to the government and get them to probably look into it. And if they want to do an audit, then our door is always open, but I wouldn't be able to action it from my end because of the legal time frame.
And the ballot papers would have been destroyed
already. And the ballot
already.
papers too have long gone.
2014 and 2018.
Yes.
Issue about if the investigation show wrongdoing after glitch, are there any laws to punish the offenders?
Well, it will depend. If it amounts to a criminal offense under the other existing criminal laws, then they could be charged there. But if it amounts to some electoral offenses, then they could go to a FICAC. But I wouldn't be able to say which laws they're going to be charged in, because it would depend on the outcome of the audit.
Also ask you questions in relation to, we know there's a few things happening in the opposition at the moment. That's at play as we speak. A speaker coming out, the statement coming out from the Fiji First opposition MPs, that the speaker has written to them about legal advice being sought, and they continue to remain, the 17 continue to remain as sitting MPs. But that's for Parliament and other authorities to decide. In terms of the party mechanics, that's where you come in as the Registrar of Political Parties. What is your decision on what are you doing in relation to the Fiji First MP Moses Mbulitavu saying the party's leadership committee makeup is incomplete, as the opposition leader is not part of the committee, although that is a party requirement. The issues that are being raised is connected to the legality of the leadership setup at the moment.
Thank you, Vijay. So this will actually be a good opportunity for me to highlight the role of the Registrar of Political Parties. So there is actually a High Court decision that was made in 2019. This is with regards to compliance of the party constitution. So it's the case of Watisoni Nata and others against Sodelpa. It was civil action 296 of 2019. So when we look at the judgment for this case, it emphasized that any breach to the party constitution cannot be considered as a breach to the Political Party Act, because the party is a separate legal entity. Now, the issue that was raised by Honorable Bulitavo, we actually received his complaint on the 30th of May this year. And so he had alleged certain breaches to the Fiji First Constitution, which you had talked about. Now, this is something that the party had to deal with. So when we received the complaint, we looked into their constitution to see if they have any grievances mechanism in place, so that the party members could actually lodge their complaint within the party. But then when we looked at the constitution, then we realized they did not have any grievances process. And so this amounted to certain things that were required from the Political Parties Act, not reflected in the Constitution. So that was why we had referred it to, we gave a notice actually to Fiji First until 28th of June to amend their constitution so that it reflects what's required in the Political Parties Act.
They need to have a grievances process. Yes. Because according to the 17, the decision was made unilaterally in relation to what has been termed as the seats have been vacated, although the Fiji First cannot decide on the vacation of the seats. At the end of the day, the Speaker decides after that, and or the matter goes to court. In Bulitavu's case, when Sodelpa decided to do that, the Speaker said the decision has to be made by the court. So this is the legal process that's underway. The issue in relation to the Fiji First given until 28th of June, what if they do not come back with that amendment?
So it's actually a notice to deregister them. So it's not, oh, maybe we can or we cannot. They must comply with that. If they don't, then it is a notice that they will then go on for deregistration. It is a requirement by the law for them to adhere to. The Constitution is to reflect what's in the Political Parties Act, and that was the notice that was given.
So if the 28th of June comes, no changes, a notice of deregistration means the action of deregistration or another process?
It actually means that we will go on with the process of deregistering them. Now, this is different from what we did last year, where we had actually suspended, because this provision is really specific. It says if they don't comply with what is required, then they have to be deregistered.
So 28 June is the date.
It's a cut-off date for them.
What happens to the issue also, you have the issue regarding the legality of the current Fiji First leader, Vorenge Bainimarama?
Okay, so Section 5 of the Political Parties Act, now it talks about a person who has been convicted of an offense and sentenced to imprisonment for a period of not less than a certain period of time, they become disqualified. So the definition of office holder, if we look at the Political Parties Act, it talks about any person who is elected or appointed, and then it gives example: president, vice president, general secretary, registered officer, treasurer. But then there is actually a case. So in 2018, there was a case, FICAC versus Rambuka. So this case, it actually stated that the definition of office holder, it also includes party leader. And then, so if we are looking at the laws regarding William Bainimarama as holding into the Fiji First party leader, whether he's eligible to still hold on to it or not. Well, the law clearly states that he doesn't, and so we actually, in the process now, we actually wrote to him. So the process is for us to remove him from the National Register of Voters.
Mr. Bainimarama?
Yes.
Because he is convicted already?
Yes. And so it doesn't mean that he is convicted that we should just automatically remove him. There's natural justice to it, so he needs to be notified that his name will be removed, and then he's given 14 days to respond. And whatever is the outcome of response would then determine the next course of action. But then the law is quite clear on the qualification. If you're serving 12 months or more, then you're not eligible to be in the National Register of Voters. And according to Section 5(3), not eligible to become office holder as well.
Now for that, you're saying 14 days. When does his 14 days finish?
It's actually next week.
Next
Thursday,
week?
Yes.
Next Thursday?
Yes.
So you take action straight after that, or is there
We receive it, and then basically straight after that, we remove from the National Register of Voters.
Because the law is clear.
Because the law is clear.
So he gets removed from the National Register of Voters, and also this other issue in relation to him then getting disqualified to be the leader of the party. What happens to people like Ayaz Said Qayyum, who came out after the decision was made, having a press conference saying he will continue to remain the leader of Fiji First?
So with regards to that issue, we had actually referred that situation to FICAC. So it's now currently with FICAC for their assessment into that issue.
You know, he said many times in press conferences that you have been targeting the Fiji First. What do you have to say to him?
Well, I think action speaks louder than words. I mean, the complaints that we've referred to FICAC, it doesn't only reflect them, it also reflects other members of other parties. And so him saying that is just nonsense.
We also have issues in relation to other matters. For example, this whole process of the MPs being told by a person who may not actually legally qualify to be giving directives from within prison walls. How does that apply to them?
You know, that's something that the speaker needs to deal with, but for us at the Fijian Elections Office, it's quite of interest to us because the Constitution, the 2013 Constitution of our nation, it talks about party leader and secretary. Now, when we look at the Political Parties Act, when it looks at office holders, the party leader is missing. And then in the case in 2018, it says party leader could be included. So for us, it'd be of interest to us on the processes that will take place here and the legality surrounding it, because even if there is a court decision to it, it will also help us with our processes.
That will take time, of course. There's another question here in relation to the Fiji First Party. These people have sent through this question as a group, I believe. Only has provision in its constitution about AGM or annual congress. But the party has never called for an AGM or annual congress according to these people. Who checks to ensure that is done? What is the process? What happens when they do not follow the process?
So with regards to having AGMs, these are some of the things that are reflected in the schedule that is in the Political Parties Act. And so at the moment it's not reflected in Fiji First constitution. So the notice that had gone out to them on for them to rectify these issues, it does not only limit them to the inclusion of the dispute, the grievances process, it also requires them to adhere to this schedule, which also includes that there needs to be a mechanism of AGM in place. So we will wait for the 28th of June to see whether they have actually adhered to the notice.
In a proper AGM, the parties have is a public meeting. Normally that's what you see as an AGM, not a
Yes.
closed door meeting.
No. The schedule, it talks about how this AGM needs to be conducted. So it talks about the fairness of it, the inclusivity of it. And so basically the principles of having any other form of AGM that we are aware of, it's quite similar to this requirement from the Political Parties Act.
What happens to sitting MPs if a party gets deregistered?
Okay, so if a party gets deregistered, there's actually a provision in the Political Parties Act which makes them become an independent member of Parliament. And so they don't lose their seat, because at the end of the day they are elected by the people in. So the non-adherence of the party as a whole would not affect them. So they become independent, and it's just a matter of them deciding where to.
Yeah, that's interesting. When you see the laws, that it's clear that as long as if there is a deregistration of the party, there are a lot of questions that come up about this. It doesn't mean that, and in this case, because there's an issue at play here with one of the parties, the Fiji First, come 28 June, that does not disqualify the MPs of Fiji First.
It doesn't.
Have the MPs of Fiji First reached out to get clarification from your office as well?
I'm sure they are aware of this, because when they were suspended last year, this was some of the questions that they had raised. So this provision doesn't come as a surprise, because it was something that most stakeholders, including them, were aware of when they had that situation last year.
Question about the constitutionality of the Fiji First Constitution in relation to the structure. The foundation members who continue to remain, and they can make decisions, and the question has been sent here: can the party be registered as a political party but have the structure of a commercial company, where you have directors, in this case founding members, with the hiring and firing powers of anyone else? Basically, founding members are the owners and the rest are employees. Does it allow it under the law?
Well, if we look at Schedule 2, it really emphasizes on having that democratic structure in the Constitution. With that said, it means all the constitutions of the party needs to reflect this. Unfortunately, this was not the case for Fiji First, and so the notice has been sent to them, and then they have to look at the second schedule of the Political Parties Act and adhere to it.
So this foundation member system has to be removed.
Yes, they have to go according to what the law says. They should remember that the Political Parties Act, it supersedes the Fiji First Constitution. So if they want to continue to be registered, then it's simple. All you have to do is look at second schedule of the Political Parties Act and reflect what's there in the Constitution.
Members of the Fiji First, and they continue to remain in that Central Executive Committee. One of the things, and we've been trying to get Mr. Ayaz Said Kayum, he has not responded to our questions, but he has posted on the social media that everyone needs to understand that the constitution of the Fiji First is different from other constitutions of other parties. What do you have to say to that?
Well, of course, it's different because it's not adhering to the law. Whereas for the rest of the party constitution, they have complied with this law. And so all he has to do to make it in compliance with the law is go back to second schedule of the Political Parties Act and get his constitution to be in line with the Political Parties Act.
Which includes ejecting himself from the setup then, because he has already resigned as General Secretary of the party.
Well, if that's the case for him to comply with the law, then so be it. Like I'll reiterate again here, the Political Parties Act, it supersedes his Fiji First Constitution.
All of these to be done by June 28th.
June 28th is a cutoff date.
So that means June 28th is a Friday. By what time on Friday?
4 p.m. on Friday.
No later than that. And by when your decision?
When they do submit, if they do compliance submit, then we will check whether it's in compliance. And so we will provide an update on the next working date, which is a Monday. And of course, if they don't submit, then we will also provide an update. When? It will depend on the situation on that day.
Question here in relation to Supervisor of Elections, if you can tell if People's Alliance has been referred to FICAC over fundraiser at a private fundraiser in Nandi?
At the moment, we have been receiving many complaints. I would not be able to confirm right now if that has been referred to FICAC because I would need to check our register. But I believe that there are some complaints to that regard that has been received.
And is SODELPA referred to FICAC over an alleged loan taken from a former management board member?
That would be something that I could confirm to once I check our register, Vijay. But do relay that question to us again, and then I'll get our communications team to provide you an update.
We assure you the question that has been sent, as the Supervisor of Elections said, will be answered. And just a final question. Actually, it's linked to two different issues, so I'll break it up. You under a lot of pressure at the moment to make sure the laws are changed. You want to get the glitch drama resolved. You have the local government elections. You have many things that you, as soon as you became confirmed as the Supervisor of Elections, and even before that, there was a bit of situation in relation to your appointment, which was the questions being asked why there was a delay. But what legacy do you want to leave behind when you leave the elections office? You did say when you came in, there were some immediate things that were not so good, including the way things were being done, the way the work was being done, the way bridges were burnt with stakeholders, the people of this country. What are you ensuring to do to ensure that FEO remains apolitical and independent and gets stronger?
Thank you, Vijay. So the Fijian Elections Office has been in existence since 2014. And so what I've realized when I took up the position as the acting and then the SOE is that we did not have any strong foundation. When I talk about strong foundation, I talk about having that process that is intact. Most of our processes were administrative obstacles to our end users. And so what I've been telling those in the office is that we don't need to conform to the way things were done. The legacy I want to leave behind is to transform. that happened then, it doesn't mean for us to carry it on. We need to transform our environment. It needs to be a consultative approach with our stakeholders, and this would have an impact on the nation. And so the legacy, if I am to summarize it, is to leave Fijian elections office better than I had found it.
And are you getting government support on the requirements? We know you're struggling with the legal requirements, but are you getting government support on the requirements including legal, operational, and financial needs? And what is your expectation for the FEO with the upcoming national budget to be announced on June 28th?
Thank you, Vijay. With regards to legal, we had touched base on it, but like I said, for us there's light at the end of the tunnel. With regards to finances, whatever is the outcome of the budget that will be allocated to us, we will just have to accept it and run with it. But instead of waiting for the budget, we had done a proactive approach, and at this stage I also want to thank our donor partners for helping us out. So instead of waiting for the budget, we have started some of these stakeholder initiatives. Whatever is the outcome, we'll accept it, but it should not affect our commitment to our stakeholders.
Supervisor of Elections, Anna Mataiciwa, thank you very much for answering. First of all, for accepting our invitation to come on the show for the first time, soon after your appointment. And definitely you will be coming back with a lot of things planned as we continue to inform you, the people of Fiji, about the local government elections, when the electoral changes do take place, after the Attorney General and Solicitor General's office get into action, and of course the upcoming dates that you have confirmed, a lot happening there. So on behalf of our users, the followers and our listeners, we'd like to thank you, Supervisor of Elections, for this evening.
Thank you, Vijay.
And that's the show for tonight. Until next week, have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.